I was inspired by every one of you talking about innovation, but particularly inspired by Dr. Farm and also by Ms. Mullane. And both of you talked about huge innovations. And I've always had this sense that innovation is hindered by legacy investments. Legacy investments being investments in factories, like a factory to make fluorescents, and all of a sudden somebody says we should be in the LED business. I'm sure that there are people looking around going, well, what do we do with all this? And then the same, I'll call the mental investments, the mindset investments, which Dr. Farm, you alluded to and you discussed about, but why don't people look at things differently? And so I think it would be useful for all of us to hear from both of you or anybody else on the panel, how do you think about overcoming legacy investments? Because this is, to me, going to be the single biggest challenge going forward. I think the technical advancements, the technical enhancements are going to be sidestepped if we can't solve the cultural, the behavioral, and the organizational issues. And I'm not sure if legacy investments, stuck in legacy investments, is organizational, if it's cultural, if it's behavioral, or if it's the natural part of the cosmos. I don't know. But what I do know is that it stops a lot of companies from moving forward. So maybe we can get some of your thoughts on that.
I think it's a mental game. You know, you have to be willing to reinvent. And so these legacy investments, as you refer to them, you have to be willing to walk away from them and reinvest, or you will you'll die. It's the adapt or die, philosophy, I think, in manufacturing. So from, a hard goods perspective or even an apparel perspective, being able to make those investments again when the technology changes. So some of the factories that we worked with went out of business because they didn't adapt or adopt the change in technology. It's interesting, though, that equipment that was used in the incandescent days can now be used again in the new LED filament days. It could be used in the middle step where we were filaments on chip. It's a completely different type of product, different drivers. It's got to go in a plastic housing. It can't go in glass. So it's interesting to see a transition from equipment that they used to be able to use to now they're using it again or adapting it, and it can be adapted to the new technology. So the factories that adapted are surviving. Those that stayed in the old days, their business shrank and shrank and shrank, or they're gone, at least from our perspective. And from the company side, it's a matter of strategizing along with your manufacturing partners. Telling them where you're going as an industry and bringing those partners along with you, and it being a cooperative approach, even though I don't own any manufacturing, or my company doesn't own any manufacturing. It's definitely a partnership, and it takes strategy on both sides, and you have to be willing, as I said, to not say I just spent $250,000 on that equipment and now I can't use it. You got to put another $250,000 worth of equipment in if you want to keep up with the times.